Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel and to this month's Vanners collaboration. And the subject this month is our past and present leisure vehicles and why we've changed them. You'll see the links to the others taking part in this collaboration just up here, and all the links to their videos and to the playlist will be in the description. So, we've been together quite a long time. Since 1975 in fact. So this list could be quite long, so bear with us. We'll try and make it as quick and snappy as possible, but it has been quite a journey in more ways than one. We've had numerous tents, we've had 4 caravans, we've had 4 boats, and now we've had 3 motorhomes. Oh, and throw in a few motorbikes for good luck and the odd car. So come with us and see what our journey has been like. It's been great fun going through all the old photos. The quality of some of them is not that good, but you've got to forgive that. And we start with this one, with me in 1977, taken on a Polaroid, so you can imagine what the quality is like. We started our trip, or our journey, with bikes, starting with a Suzuki T250J, commonly known as the Hustler, and we progressed a bit, went through a 550, which Alan, looking very slight, is riding there. We went off to Cornwall, all our bags packed up, and we ended up eventually, although there's no picture of this, with a 750 Suzuki, the old kettle. So, we got married in 1980, and on honeymoon, with a little bit of money we were given as a wedding present, £27, we bought our first tent. Got one a little bit bigger, and then one a lot bigger, and you'll see we got wardrobes and kitchen, and then eventually we moved on to caravans. This old thing was our first caravan. It was on a site in Leicestershire, and we nearly got killed in this caravan. We went to bed one night and it had one of those heaters, those gas heaters, and we were falling asleep, and we suddenly realised we couldn't see the other end of the van. And we got out of that van so damn quick. I think we would have been killed by carbon monoxide poisoning. But we had a lucky escape, and that wasn't actually the reason we changed this. We changed it because we decided we didn't want to be static, stuck on the one site anymore. So we moved on. Here I am with our first new caravan, and it was a Crusader Sirocco. Dreadful to say it, but the colours matched the car at the time. We felt like $1 million. And we had a tow bar fitted to a sports car, and Alan insisted it was removable so it didn't spoil the look of his sports car when we weren't towing the van. And we spent most of our time in the south of England with this, and at the same time we bought our first boat. We had learnt to dive. So we'd done this abroad, we learnt in Kenya, but we decided we wanted to dive in the British Isles, and to be able to do that in the same way as using our own steam, as it were, rather than on dive boats all the time, was to buy a boat. So we bought Bimini, and that's Alan on Bimini. Looking slim there, love. Also had a Zodiac, and we thought that might be a bit of fun. So we put that on the top of our Discovery at the time. That was quite a rig, the Discovery and the Zodiac on top. Nice winch on the front of the Discovery, so we used to winch it up on top. But it also came in useful once or twice. We towed a small bus out of a ditch with it once. That was a bit of fun. So we were enjoying our dive boat, but we had to stay in hotels. So we needed somewhere to stay. Along came our second caravan, another Eldest actually, a little 2-berth Eldest that you'll see here. We loved it. Reupholstered it, I made all the curtains, made it our own. And once again, we got our own little home with all our stuff around us so that we could go down to Cornwall, leave the boat in the marina, and then go up the road and stay in our van. We did move on, but we moved on from that because in the interim, we did a barn conversion and we moved on to yet another caravan. But this time, could you call it a leisure vehicle? I'm not quite sure. We lived in it for 6 months. There it is, complete with mega awning, full of my clothes, and also a dog cage, because you'll see our first little puppy, and that's Jet, a black German Shepherd who was the apple of her daddy's eye. Oh, we do miss her, even though it's been 20 years this year since we lost her. But that 6 months in that caravan, which was a North Star, eldest North Star, we thoroughly enjoyed. So the reason for changing that caravan, we actually sold the barn conversion we were going to live in, and we no longer needed the caravan to live in, so we sold it. The next is a proud picture of Alan. I said that we'd sold the barn, so what did we do? Not with all of the proceeds, but with some of the proceeds, we bought our first boat that you could live on. So no longer a caravan and a boat, we could now stay on the boat. She was a lovely boat, a Princess 286 Riviera, so she was just under 30 foot long, and we did all sorts with her. In fact, we visited Guernsey for the very first time in our lives, using Springadee to cross the channel. Well, we've loved the place ever since. This next boat looks similar, but it's bigger. This is a 36 Riviera, and we called her Sanity. She had a dreadful name when we first got her, called Mrs. P. Apparently it was the wife or the daughter of the guy that owns the Coleman's mustard factory. Anyway, we had a great time. We bought it from the south of France, and we had her fetched back to Torquay, and pity, it arrived on my birthday, but without a red ribbon round it. Never got over that one. In 1999, there was a big change in our lives, and we decided that we were going to move to Guernsey. I'd had a job offer, so we decided we'd move to Guernsey. So we sold Sanity and had no immediate plans for a boat again, because we didn't know what was going to happen. So we decided that we would enjoy ourselves again independently, no package holidays, and we got a Jaguar XKR, and we took it all over Europe in 1999. You'll see us here in Switzerland. This is June, believe it or not, although we're in the middle of, well, it's not a glacier, it's where they cut through the avalanches from the previous season. We settled into Guernsey, and it was time for another leisure vehicle. And in 2000, we bought Farine. Farine was a Sunseeker Superhawk 48. Very posh, very nice. Or so we thought. It was actually a bit fur coat and no knickers, but it was a stunning looking boat, and wow, did we have some fun on her. Taking her to France, all round the Channel Islands, south coast of England, and to be honest, we felt the bee's knees. So why did we change her? Well, she was costing us a fortune. She had 3 engines, so every year when you serviced it, there were 3 to pay for. She had 3 outdrives, so every year there were 3 to pay for. And to be honest, the quality isn't what Sunseeker make out. We had to replace alternators, we had to replace all sorts of things. So we decided we needed another boat, a different boat. And what should we do? We'll go for a new boat with a 3-year warranty, so we wouldn't have all of these problems. So that's why we traded in Farine and got Toy Box. We had to wait a bit for Toy Box to arrive. And as in the case of our current motorhome, which we'll tell you about as we get closer to the present day, it was delayed, and in the meantime, we bought a couple of Harley Davidsons. I learnt to ride a motorbike and passed my motorbike test, although the licence hasn't been used all that much, I have to confess. Now the Harleys, why did we sell those and when? Can't quite remember when. The reason we sold them, we live on the seafront and the American chrome isn't up to it. We were forever polishing, never got rid of the rust, and eventually sold them to somebody who was going to actually do the job properly rather than just want to ride around on a Sunday afternoon. So that's the tale of two Harleys. Back to Toy Box. We got Toy Box in the summer of 2006, and she's a Fairline 47 GT. In fact, she still sits in the marina in St Peter Port now. We sold her when we got our first motorhome, but I'll come on to that in a moment. But we had 13 fantastic years with her. We went all over the south coast, we went to France, all round the islands, and it was just lovely. And we still love her to this day, but we couldn't have two at the same time, could we? So take a look at our time with Toy Box and also with Toy. This is Toy. It's our tender, and it was a Williams jet rib, and it sat in the garage at the back of Toy Box, hence the name. Oh, we had some fun. You'll see the inside of Toy Box was beautiful. Super yacht finish, all leather, and it was lovely. But that has made my taste in motorhomes somewhat expensive, really, because we got such a nice layout and such nice furnishings in the boat that it kind of coloured your opinion a bit when you came to looking at motorhomes. And I have to say, although superficially our first motorhome looked wonderful and looked up to the job, it wasn't. We'll come on to that in a moment. The next leisure vehicle you'll see, somewhat diminutive. It's a Honda PCX 125, but there was a reason for that. The reason being, we decided to give motorhoming a go, and we wanted to have transport as well as the motorhome. So we bought this PCX 125, which we've still got. So no need to tell you why we changed it, because we've still got it. And we then took a trip to Brownhills, because being a very large motor dealer, we thought we might find just the motorhome for us. And we thought we had. And we bought a Contiki 675. Absolutely loved the layout, loved it, full of bells and whistles and very highly spec'd, especially for the price. So we did a deal. Alan almost walked out, so I think we knew we got the right price at the time. But then started a period of time which was somewhat difficult, although still coming back. We loved the Contiki. We went to France, we went to Spain, absolutely loved it. Can't fault the layout. And in fact, our current Carthago has the same layout. But we did have quite a few problems with it. But before then, we did go over Europe, or throughout Europe, came back on the 2nd of February 2020. And little did we know what was going to happen then. As we all know, the world came to a full stop. So our van sat in its storage for 17 months without being used. But we did get back to it. We got back to it in 2021, and we were on the road again. And by this stage, we'd got our VW up and an A-frame. Thank you, Bob Earnshaw, for costing us money. I know I've said this before. I'll say it again. Great. In fact, we just had it serviced today, still going fine. And the faults just didn't go away. One of the biggest things was the black panels on the front of the vehicle just fell off. Imagine going down the motorway with these big black perspex panels flying back at some poor motorcyclists and chopping their head off. And nobody ever came up with an answer. So we started to look around for another van because we just couldn't be happy with it. We were without a van. And the Carthago was due to arrive in March, but because of the chip shortage, which hit everybody at the time, it was delayed and delayed. Eventually, it arrived in November of 2022. But in the meantime, we thought we'd have a bit of fun, so I passed my test on my motorbike a couple of years ago. So for Christmas 2021, Alan bought me a Bullet Blue Rock. I have to say I haven't ridden it very much, but I can ride it, as you will see. Alan bought a KTM 390 Adventure, but that was in anticipation of the Carthago coming, so he could put it in the back in the garage. And one day we were riding around the island on our electric bikes. Yes, we do occasionally exercise, and we saw a guy cleaning a motorhome. It looked pretty tidy. It was actually an auto trail Savannah. So, not being shy, Alan wandered over and chatted to the guy and asked him what he was up to, and he said he was polishing it up, ready for sale. Within a week, we'd bought it. Within 2 weeks, we were off island, and we had 10 glorious weeks in that wonderful hot summer in the UK in our Savannah. We even went to my nephew's wedding, and you'll see a photo here of me and Alan with my brother and sister-in-law in a car park, and that was at the wedding reception where we stayed overnight, a pair of auto trails. We partaxed the Savannah and took delivery of our Carthago in November, in fact I think it was November the 18th, 2022. We did a trip round the UK straight away, and then Boxing Day we were off on the ferry and we went over to Santander and we circumnavigated Spain, and we had a wonderful time, but no reason to sell it. We absolutely love it. Take a look at her, and we have no plans to get rid of her any time soon. Sorry if we stretched it a bit by throwing in the bikes and the odd tent or two, but it's all part of our leisure vehicle journey. Hope you watch all of the other collaborators as well. As I said, the descriptions are in the description down below, and join us next month for the next Vanners collaboration, and don't forget, subscribe to our channel. Cheers.